Today we have Corey Walker with us. Corey, you wrote a book recently, and you also do digital marketing and all of that support for real estate agents. So it's a pleasure having you on here. What's the title of your book, Corey?
So I've actually I'm in the process of my sixth book. So I've written Instagram for Dummies, two editions of that, and then three editions of Instagram for Business for Dummies. I don't know if you can see it with the blur, but so these are available at Barnes and Noble, Amazon, all that. So yeah.
So we got a great one here for you today. So fasten your seatbelts. Leon already did. I'm going to hand it over to Corey. Corey, go for it. Tell us what we're
Okay.
going to be talking about today.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm supposed to be in the, can you guys see me as a big head? Because I still see me as a little head.
C is a big head.
I'm a
A
big
beauty
head.
head.
I'm a big head. Okay. So again, my name's Corey Walker, and I am the co-author of Instagram for Dummies, Instagram for Business for Dummies. And I'm also a marketing agency owner. So I've had the marketing specialist up here in El Dorado Hills, California for over 20 years. And I work with real estate agents, restaurants, and healthcare are my big three that I focus on. And I've been doing that for years. I've been doing social media since about 2010 and writing these Instagram books for the past, I think, 8 years. So I am all in on Instagram, social media, all of that. So today I have a little presentation for you. Let me share my screen. And let me just get it on. Okay. Can everybody, oops, can you see that? No, I don't know what happened. Maybe I have to keep it on. Okay. Can you see that now?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So, we are going to talk about Instagram specifically for real estate strategies to grow your business in 2026. And this is why Instagram wins for real estate. So, there's over 2 billion monthly active users on Instagram. I personally love Instagram because it's kind of the medium spot where all age ranges are. And, Facebook has really skewed upwards for, 40 and up, which might be for real estate, might be your perfect sweet spot. But Instagram is also in that age range. So if you want to get, from obviously you probably don't want teens, but anywhere from teens to, my dad's in his 80s and he's on Instagram, whereas TikTok goes a little bit younger. So I really like Instagram because it kind of runs the breadth of all different ages and different interests. So there's so many different niches on Instagram that you can plug into, and the users are on there scrolling and scrolling and scrolling every day. Now this stat, I need AI to do like a little fact check on this one because it says 70% of buyers use social media to find homes. So that I'm not sure if that is 100% accurate, but when you combine, people scrolling, seeing different agents online, having that awareness out there, it's very important that you have some type of presence on social media. And Herb and I were actually just talking about this right before I jumped on, is that, you can be shy and not want to be on social media, but it is important that you have some type of presence on, whether it's Instagram or whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you really feel that your customer is, you need to be out there. And right now, it has three times more engagement on Instagram versus Facebook. But again, I'm audience first. So wherever you feel like your audience really is, like if you are in the luxury market and your audience is say, 60 plus, then you might skew more towards um, Facebook. If you're looking for that Gen Z, late millennial buyer, you might want to go strictly like on Instagram and TikTok. So that's important to note as well. Um, but a lot of agents, and I know since I've sat in on a few of these masterminds, are using Instagram with AI tools to really like level things up and be able to make more content more quickly. So the first thing I like to do when I do an audit of someone's Instagram account is make sure that their bio looks good and is hitting all of the main points. Bios now are searchable through SEO. And there's a lot more in Instagram now than just hashtags for being found. In fact, the CEO of Instagram is really kind of downplaying hashtags at this point. They are, on some accounts, it hasn't rolled out to everybody, but they're trying to limit it to only having 5 hashtags. And they are trying to emphasize the fact that what is in your, say, your reel or what is in your caption, all of those things are leading towards your SEO. It's not just the hashtag. So don't put all your eggs in that basket of thinking, oh, the hashtag's going to do all these things for me because it's not as powerful as it used to be. But going back to the bio, your bio, if you're not familiar, on your profile page on Instagram, it's that little section at the very top. And this is your 30-second pitch. So if somebody looks at one of your reels and then goes over to your bio, you want it to have a really compelling little, snippet of what you do, who you serve, the area you're in. So that's number one. Who do you serve? What's your niche? Is it luxury buyers, first-time buyers, investors? Make that clear. What your market is, any type of unique value that you offer that makes you different from everybody else. If you do have, some great awards, or if you are now at the point you've been doing this for so long, you've sold 1,000 homes, put that on there. And then you want a clear CTA call to action. So give them something for following you. So you can have a link in the bio with, maybe a free home valuation, a buyer guide, and right now, for those of you that don't use Instagram regularly, your posts don't allow for a link out unless you're doing an ad. So you want to have something good in your link in bio. Instagram now does let you have 5 links in that link in bio. Before it was just one. And so you either had to swap it out or have it go to your main one. Or what I usually have clients do is have some type of link tree or have a special page on their website that it goes to that allows for multiple links. Um, so on my account, I have Stan Store, and you may not need that. Stan Store is really good if you're selling products, like if you have digital products, things like that, because it'll process payments. But you're not selling a house through through Instagram. You are probably just having, some maybe a link to a home valuation tool or something like that. So there's other ones out there. Linktree is an easy one where you can put multiple links in there. You can swap them out easily. So say you wrote some fabulous blog post about something in your area, and you just wanted it up there for 3 months, you could swap that out. So it makes it really easy. Now if you want to, I'm gonna move my little thing over because I don't know if it's blocking you or not, but here's a simple AI bio prompt. Write a compelling Instagram bio for a real estate agent who specializes in whatever your niche is and whatever your city is. Include a hook, credibility marker, unique value proposition, and a call to action. Keep it under 150 characters. So yeah, feel free to screenshot that if you want. I know that Herb is also should be recording this, so you can go back to that if you'd like to use that. Okay, so next, let's talk about the power of Reels. Show of hands, how many people are doing Reels right now? Yes, no, some yes, some no. Okay, well, I will tell you that Reels are the number one thing in the algorithm. So if you want to get the most bang for your buck, you want to lean into Reels, and then carousels are a close second. So if you're like, oh, I don't have time to do Reels, I don't want to do Reels, I'm going to give you some ideas here to help that. But if you're absolutely like, oh, I can't, um, carousels are kind of bumping up in the algorithm as well as another way to get seen more. So the first thing that you can do to expedite your Reels creation is use AI for some ideas and scripts. So you can prompt the AI with your niche and your market and just tell it, generate 10 real concepts, and it will come up with them in seconds. Um, you can also tell it to turn those scripts into something that's teleprompter ready. um, and have you guys all used, if you're doing Reels right now, do you use Edits, which is kind of it's Instagram's answer to CapCut, and it's its own standalone app that basically works with Instagram, but you can also do all your editing in Edits and export it to wherever you want. You can put it on TikTok. It's not going to have that watermark on it. But the other cool thing about edits is if you film within it, it has a teleprompter feature. And so you can copy and paste your whole script in there and then, just have your phone here and have it filming, and it's going to show the teleprompter of your exact script. So you can just be looking at it as you film. So that is super helpful if you're going to be talking, if you're going to be talking some longer thing, maybe about the things you love about your city or whatever it is. If it's helpful for you to have that script, it'll be a scrolling script for you. So I love that feature. It's called Edits. Download it. It's free as well. Um, the other thing that you can do is capture some B-roll. So if you're selling multiple homes and just want to get some really good footage of each home, if you do drone shots, neighborhood walkthroughs, um, different property details, like, some of the things that you do on Instagram don't necessarily have to be sell, sell, sell every minute. In fact, you don't want to do that. So there's some things that you can do, like it says property details. Maybe show like, this home in Santa Barbara has this really cool mission style, um, you know, front facade or whatever it is. Show some of those other things so that people are interested in learning from you. Maybe have these are my 5 tips for new buyers. Things like that are great for using B-roll because you can just do a text overlay. Again, you can use edits for this. Have just B-roll text edits. You don't have to be on the camera, and it's pretty easy. It's also something if you have a virtual assistant, if you just say, here's 10 clips that I took of homes in my neighborhood or my recent property listing and put these, 10 text overlays on them, that's something you can hand off. So you don't have to do it all yourself. Another thing you can do if you are wanting to film yourself is do a batch filming. I know for me, I always think I need to take my own advice. I always think, oh, I'm going to have time to do this during my day. And then, of course, your day gets crazy And then, or maybe you're just not makeup ready that day, or your hair's a mess, and you're like, I'm not going on camera today. No way. But if you block out, 2 to 3 hours monthly and maybe pick out a couple outfits, do your hair, makeup, whatever is your best look, and have all these scripts ready and then just knock it out. And then you can either you can edit them maybe a different day or hand them off, like I said, if you have a virtual assistant that helps you with that. And then maybe you have 12 reels that are ready to go. And they don't all have to be super different because well, first of all, people don't even see all of your stuff within the algorithm because of the way that Instagram works. And they have a short memory anyway. So they might see it one day, and then if you mix it in, a month later, they're not going to remember that they even saw it. So don't feel like everything has to be this new masterpiece every time. Reuse some of those pieces of content in different ways. All of that is good. In fact, you could do a number of reels and then take the transcript of it and create carousels. I mean, there's so many ways to reuse this stuff that I really highly encourage. That's another thing that you can use AI for, in fact, is put in your video and then say, come up with, 3 other ways I can use this piece of content. AI can be so helpful for just kind of brainstorming that kind of stuff. And then finally, I love using a scheduler. Now, I do think it's important for you to still be out there and watching your notifications to get back to people quickly, especially if someone like Leon was saying with Facebook Marketplace, if someone's expressing interest in something that you've shown, you want to get back to them quickly or else they're going to move on. But in terms of just getting your content out there, there's so many schedulers that you can use. You can even use, if you don't want to pay for one, you can use Meta. Facebook and Instagram are both in the Meta Business Suite. You can schedule all of them for free within the Meta Business Suite. Or if you want a little bit more on bells and whistles for analytics and that kind of stuff, you can use a scheduler like Later, Buffer, Sprout Social, Hootsuite. There's so many out there, and um, they really have a big price range. So I would say before you invest in something like a Sprout Social, which might be 100 and something a month, is maybe use Meta Business and see, okay, what am I actually using? Am I going deep into the analytics or am I just using this for posting? Because if you're not going to dive into the analytics and say, okay, this post is working, so I'm going to tweak that. And I mean, I know a lot of people have good intentions, but they often don't do this. Don't invest hundreds of dollars in these big schedules because you're just going to be like flushing money down the toilet. Um, but I do like the scheduler so you can schedule everything at the beginning of the month. And then all you have to do is check your notifications and you're not having that daily stress of like, oh, okay, I should have posted something today. I should have posted something today. So this really, really helps. And this is what I do for a lot of my clients is I get all the content ready about a week before, like say May 1st. I have them review it and then I get it all posted by, May 1st for the month. And then the rest of the month's kind of like, it's really nice. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about carousels and stories. Um, do people know the difference of what a carousel is and what a story is? Um, if not, I'll just do a brief overview. So a carousel is when you're on Instagram and you see multiple images and you basically have to scroll through. It could be images, it could be graphics, it could be videos, and there's going to be multiple of them. If you schedule it natively, like on your phone, it'll allow you to put 20 pieces of content in one carousel. But for some reason, if you do it on Meta Business Suite, it only allows 10. I don't know why, but that's the way that's the way it is for some weird reason. Um, That being said, I don't usually recommend doing 20 pieces in a carousel because people don't have the bandwidth to go through 20 pieces of content. Usually, I try to limit like maybe six, 5 to 6, and then people usually bail. So you don't want people to bail before you get to your call to action or your main, whatever you want them to do. In fact, if you do have some type of call to action at the end saying like, download my free guide to Plano, Texas, you don't want them to have to go through a million screens to get there because they probably won't. Um, the other thing I do like about carousels is, and this is like a little factoid that a lot of people don't know about, is if you put, say you've got a carousel and it has 5 graphics to it. When someone's scrolling through, they're going to see that first one. And then if they scroll through again and they never went to the next card or the next graphic, the next time they scroll through, they're automatically going to get the next one. And Instagram will kind of pick up wherever they left off. So it's almost like you're getting kind of a free new push of content. I mean, you would like them to go through the whole thing at once, but it does give you kind of a second chance to capture their attention again. Um, Now with carousels, it's nice if you can either tell a story. So first have some stop the scroll surprising stat or question that hooks them and makes them stop for a second and go like, oh yeah, well I did kind of wonder about that. So it can either be a story like you're not going to believe what happened to me last week, dot, dot, dot. And so that just kind of naturally makes you go, oh, well, I want to know what happened to him last week. So you can do something like that. Or I also like to use carousels for like my top 5 tips for X, Y, and Z. And so the first page of the carousel will be that my top 5 tips for new buyers in Encino, California. And then the next card is tip one, blah, 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 tip two. So they have to go through the whole thing to get all the tips. And now I'm jaded to this because I can pick it out with my marketing brain in a second, but a lot of people do in the comment or in the caption will say, "Oh, tip 4 is like the best tip." So don't sleep on tip 4. So then they're like, "Oh, well, I want to know what's in tip 4," and they'll go further along in there. And the further along that people go in your carousels and keep going, all of those movements to the next carousel is an alert to Instagram saying, people like this content. People want more of it. And so that's going to boost you up in the algorithm even more. So the more you can get people staying with those carousels, and that's the other reason I don't like to do 20 is because you're going to have that drop off. They're probably not going to complete it. And so that tells Instagram, well, they kind of liked it. And then they said, man, um, so another thing you can do, you could showcase your listings. It could be one thing that's fun and people love are before and afters. So you could do, say if you worked with a stager or you did like a mini flip reno kind of thing, show like the living room before and after. But with one caveat is yes, I like to do before and afters, but on Instagram, I flip it. So you have the after because you don't want this ugly, like 70s style room on your feed because it just looks ugly. So you're going to do the after and then you might say something like, oh my gosh, you have to see what the before was, stuff like that. Or you could do, if you did, say 4 rooms, you could do all the afters first and then all the befores at the end and just be like, oh gosh, like, because I know with me, I love a good before and after. That's why I love watching makeover shows, whether it's a home makeover or makeup makeover, all that stuff, because people, it's that natural curiosity. You want to see, like, oh, what did this look like before? So that's a great one to do, is before and afters with the after first. And then, of course, on the last slide, you want some call to action. And this is a great place to say, like, either DM me, save this for later, share this with a friend, book a call, um, download my buyer's guide. And one thing that is tricky with Instagram, which is the thing that people hate the most, is that you can't link out. So I use a tool called Stampede Social, or a lot of you have probably heard of ManyChat. It's kind of the same thing. So with ManyChat or with Stampede Social, these are the ones where people say comment buyer's guide, and then that link will go to their DMs. So I prefer doing that. Now it's an extra little step of work, but people are lazy, and as soon as you say link in bio, they're like, oh, I gotta come out of here, and then I have to go to the profile, and then I gotta click something, and they don't do it because they're freaking lazy. So if you can just say comment here, they're already on the post, and then they get it to their DMs. So it's going to be sitting in their DMs when they check it later. You're going to have a better conversion when you do it that way. Um, and then finally, you can always prompt AI to outline, say, a, 5, 6, 7 slide carousel on any real estate topic, and it will break it down for you. Now, stories are a little bit of a different animal. They, they're kind of in their own little section, and someone is usually following you. Now, sometimes Instagram is starting to slip in some other people on stories that aren't following you, but for the most part, it's going to be your followers and people that are looking at stories that are going to see it. They do expire every 24 hours. So this is a fun place if you're trying to keep your Instagram profile looking a certain way, but you have some fun things that maybe happened to you that day, or maybe some kind of like blooper that you don't really want to sit on your feed the whole time, but it's funny and you want to share it. This is a great place to do that. You can do behind the scenes of open houses. If you want to share maybe like a DM or a text you got from a client that says like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you got me, 900,000 for my house. I'm so incredibly grateful, stuff like that. You might want to just share on a story. You can do polls and questions. So this could be a good engagement tool. Like this one says, granite or quartz counters, which do you prefer? And then they can vote, or they can answer your question. And Instagram, by the way, loves that stuff. It loves when you use their little stickers and tools. And anytime they come out with something new on Instagram, if you're aware of it and you jump on it, that's usually what they push on the algorithm, because they want it to be a success. So anytime you see something new, if you can like jump on it and try it, it's a good thing, and you'll be rewarded for it. You could do countdown stickers. So if you have, a new listing that's going live, or maybe you're doing an open house with a taco bar or something, and you want to have that countdown sticker on there, that's always really fun. And then your story highlights, those are the ones that live directly on your profile. So you'll see like little circles. And that one you could have, current listings, or tips for sellers, testimonials, anything you want, but those do not expire after 24 hours. They will live there. One thing that I have noticed, and I'm guilty of this myself, is I'll put a highlight out there and then it'll sit there for like a year. So it is a good practice to kind of.
I'm Nick Baldwin. This is Tristan Ahmada, and we are Lab Coat agents. And someone from Montclair, New Jersey, Larry Weiss. What's up, Larry? I'm from Montclair, New Jersey. Nice to meet you.
Everybody from all over the place.
Yeah, mute everybody. Yeah, thank you.
I'm in Detroit. I'm born and raised in Montclair, so it's nice to see a Montclarian there. So
Awesome, Cynthia. Can you mute your
That's well.
call?
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. Okay,
Yeah, I was
sorry.
wondering what happened.
Um, yeah, so anyway, for the highlights, this I would say is one of your least important things to focus on because I don't know how many people spend a ton of time going on highlights. So all of these other things that I'm telling you about, I would prioritize over worrying about your highlights too much. Okay, so this is a 30-day Instagram action plan if you want to put some of these things that I've talked about into practice. So the very first easy win you can do is rewrite your bio using an AI prompt. And then you can go through your Instagram and audit and either archive or delete any posts that you feel like they just either they don't look good, they didn't perform well. You can shove those aside. Now you can leave them on there as well, but I like to call a few things that I look back on and I'm like, nah, I don't really love that anymore, and I will take those out. It's also a good practice to go in and see what performed really well. So if you have your Instagram set up as a business profile, you have that professional dashboard, and you can go in there and it'll say like, okay, this reel got 2,000 views, and if that's really good for your account, say like all the others were only getting 200 views. So look at that reel and say, oh gosh, what was it about this reel that people were really intrigued by? And try and do more of that. Try and figure out exactly what they liked and replicate it in some different manner. Or maybe even if it was, you know, 3 months ago, just repost it. Um, and because like I said, people don't remember these things. So if you are going to do some kind of official scheduler, go ahead and set up that later buffer Sprout Social account, or just get to know your Meta Business Suite because that might be all you need. Week two, film a batch of 4 reels. Use some of that B-roll and voiceover. You could create your first, and I should have said, it says 7 slide. I really like 5 to 6. So anyway, create your first carousel. Schedule all the content for the week. Week three, start posting some stories. Use some of those polls, Q&As, behind the scenes, and get out there and engage a bit. That is going to help your account a little bit more if you're out there not just liking things, because I will tell you, a lot of people like stuff on my account and I don't really even notice it. But if someone leaves a nice comment for me, then I'm more apt to go to their account and be like, okay, who was this person? And find out a little bit more about them. So if you can leave a thoughtful comment, and please do not use an AI bot for this because people see right through it. And I've literally had a client where she was talking about how her dog had died. And there was just this AI bot, or maybe they used a VA, I don't know. But it was just like, oh, how cute. And you're like, okay, she just talked about her dog dying. Like clearly they did not read the message and they were just putting, the same comment on everything. Do not do that. It looks really bad and it's not a good look. Also, like I said before, analyze which content got either the most saves, most views, most likes. Take a look at that and see how you can replicate that. Week four, batch film next month's reels, create a few new carousel topics, and then review all of your insights on that professional dashboard and refine your strategy. So just in the end, start with one thing this week and just build on it. I think what happens a lot of times is they're like, okay, I'm going to go all in on Instagram. And they try and do it all in like one week and implement everything. And then they get burnt out. So they go like gung ho for 1 month and then literally they just drop off. because it's just too much. So just incrementally, every step you take is going to help you a little bit more. So don't be afraid to just kind of chunk it out and keep adding. Um, and then, so this part is more talking about, realtors who went on Instagram aren't the ones that post the most, they're the ones who post with intention, use AI as a co-pilot, and show up consistently for their audience. And so my Instagram is down there if you ever want to check it out. It's at Corey C. Walker. And my website is themarketingspecialist.com. That's the name of my business. But I wanted to talk to you about one other non-Instagram piece because I think it's something that a lot of you, I'm getting some realtors that are asking about this, and some of my other small business people are asking me. And it is something that you will need to address at some point in the not too distant future is AI visibility on your website. So, a lot of times now, even if you go to Google to search for something, you're not just getting either your sponsored Google ads or just, whoever ranks top in SEO. You're getting a description or an AI assisted little bubble. So if you say, um, what's the best way to sell my house in Folsom, California? Instead of just giving links, it's going to give an AI description and it's going to put the sources of what it used and those links. Now, the other thing is a lot of people are just going straight to Chat GPT. They're going to Claude, they're going to Perplexity, and they're asking about realtors in their area. And it's, in the beginning, I thought, oh, well, if you just have good SEO, then you're fine. But the more I'm looking into this and finding things, there is a difference. And some of the differences are like AI really likes FAQs on your site. So if you can have a page that has FAQs about the buying process, what it's like to work with you, what it's like living in your city. Things like that are helpful. Having your name and a dedicated bio page just for you is very important. If you have any awards, accolades, having that really called out well. And that's on top of just what you may have already done for SEO with making sure that the name of your city is on there and along with your name all together. So anyway, I developed an AI visibility audit, and in that you get a fully custom done for you analysis of your website. This is not like a template. It's actually going through and finding everything on your back end, all of that. And it will give you a GEO, which is Generative Engine Optimization readiness score out of 10. It will give you a prioritized breakdown of what's hurting your AI visibility right now. So it'll tell you kind of what you're doing wrong. And then it will tell you, like, these are the top things you need to fix. These are kind of the medium level. And these are nice to fix, when you have time. It'll also say the exact questions your ideal clients are typing into AI agents that your site doesn't answer right now. And then just like I had this 30-day action plan for Instagram, it also has a 30-day action plan, and it's a lot more detailed than what I just put for your Instagram one. It's like very specific. And a lot of the things are things, as long as you are comfortable with changing out text and adding a page on your website, it's not like you need this heavy developer. A lot of it is just manipulating the text more, creating this special page that might have FAQs, things like that. So if you're comfortable with your website and making those types of additions, you may not need, like a developer, or it could be something where you just type up these new pages and give it to your VA or your webmaster. So they're not crazy, crazy things. Finally, you'll get it delivered to you as a PDF report. And I generate those usually within 24 hours of business on a regular business day. So I have the link here. I'm going to just put it, see if I can put it in the chat. And then if you want to check it out, you can do that. Let me just get this in there. And that's it. So that's my presentation on both. And I am open for questions if anyone has any specifics on either Instagram or AI visibility or any of that.
What was the name of that program? You said Stampede what?
Stampede Social.
Thank
Yes.
you.
And I know the owner of that company. In fact, I was on a call with him yesterday. Nicest guy. And literally, like, if you have a question about the stuff, you will talk to him directly. So as opposed to ManyChat, which is just this like huge thing, I've used ManyChat before and I've used Stampede Social. And I will tell you, Stampede Social is a lot easier from a user standpoint, and they have better analytics. So just take that as you will. Any other?
Always, do people, I mean, I would go to Instagram. I mean, when people really be attracted to a real estate agent from a video reel, I guess I'm not the millennial group. So
Yeah. No, you would be surprised. I'm actually selling my house this summer, and my realtor is like all over Instagram, and she does get new leads. Now, I will tell you, she does reels like a mad woman. She is on there all the time, sharing her lifestyle, all of this stuff. So she just gets a ton of traction and views. And I think partially it's kind of like a big circle. So she talks about, the home she's selling and how much net she's getting for these homes. So that's getting people to, go with her. And then she will post about, how she got net for this person, and then all these other lifestyle things. Um, Now, most people probably don't have the bandwidth to be on social as much as she is. And she really leverages, like, she's got a ton of virtual assistants, all of that. That being said, I do think it's important for you to have some type of presence. And the reason I lean into Reels is because it's the highest in the algorithm. So I do think it is important. It's a good way to show your thought leadership and show that you know what you're talking about. So if you can really spread those tips of like, this is what I found in the market, or do a monthly, like, this is the market update for, Savannah, Georgia, and this is what I'm seeing happening. Then people start seeing you as like the authority in your region. So I do think it's worthwhile, and you just, it's one of those things where you have to find the system to make it work for you and have good call to actions in place. Anybody else?
Yes.
Hi.
I was just actually this week working on like market updates using Carousel. So
Oh,
dabbling with that, just trying to get that better because I noticed
perfect.
that AI sometimes tends to put a lot of stuff on the carousel, and I don't want too much information. I just want something that people can just kind of scroll quickly and get the
Yeah.
general information regarding what's going on, the market area.
Yeah, that's a great use. And yeah, just have the cover be market report for whatever your city is. And then yeah, break it down a little bit. And it is important when you're doing stuff like that to make sure there's some reason for them to go to the next page. So if you can always be thinking like, what's going to lure them to go to that next page, that is going to help you both get your full message across. And if you have a call to action at the end, it's going to get them to the end. But as I was explaining earlier, it's going to help in the algorithm because you're giving that signal to Instagram like, oh, people are interested in this. They keep going through this carousel.
And say like, should I, because I live nearby similar small communities, should I be doing a market update for each community separately on as a carousel, or can I put them all together?
I mean, I guess it depends how different they are. So if one, if you want to do more your metro area, or if you're like very specific on this particular community, like I'm the top seller in say like an active 55 community or something like that, I would say, well, actually, that's a good question. Let me think about it. Because one thing you can use it as an from an SEO standpoint, like have one carousel that's all about this specific community and really lean into um, using that community's name and associating it with your name. So that's yeah. So I guess if they're not greatly different, then you might want to just do the one. But if they do trend differently, like if they have different lifestyles, like one is more for a younger buyer and one is for an older buyer, then I definitely think it's worth it.
Mhm.
And I would be very clear in your caption to mention the names, the city, all of that. And SEO is even picked up both in your spoken word and the text overlays now in your reels. So make sure to add all of that, and that's just going to give you more SEO juice.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. Anybody else?
Yeah, I have another question. If no one else is
Sure.
gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, and I noticed that also. I've been also dabbling with creating flyers using AI. The one thing I
Mhm.
don't like is, I don't like printing them just off directly the AI service that I'm using and just distributing them that way. It just looks, I don't know, just so AI. I don't
Yeah,
know. And I was thinking, is it best just to have the structure, and again, just make it on Canva instead?
personally, I don't know if you were in the one, he was at either last week or 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago, Herb, when we were on and we were doing those. I think it depends on how AI it looks. Now, one thing I do not like is AI likes to kind of cartoonize your photo. And then that just kind of screams AI. So I like it better when someone uses their true photo. I mean, it's fine if it's, touched up a bit or whatever, but that's one thing. I definitely don't like because it just screams AI and people are like who is this person even? So if you can get it to the point where it doesn't look AI-ish, like you said, it might be better that you kind of get the structure and then work with it in Canva. It might look better. If you can get the AI prompt like dialed in really tight, you might be able to
Mhm.
still get away with it on AI. Another thing you have to be careful about that we experienced when we were playing around with it is sometimes it just likes to go rogue and like we had it made a photo have a swimming pool like on the way into the garage. So you have to be really, really careful with these things that it's not altering your home photos or adding other weird things because it just has these hallucinations and it just kind of decides like,
Mhm.
sure, there should be a pool on the way into your driveway. Like, why not? So, yeah, that's one thing. You might even want to have it build a structure and then drop in the photos using Canva. So you make sure you get the actual photos and not whatever ChatGPT or Claude or whoever you're using decides would be a good photo. Yeah, so you need to be like really look at what it produces for you because not only do you not want the embarrassment of having a photo that you didn't notice that has some weird hallucination, you can also get in trouble for it's basically like fraud, showing like all of a sudden AI decided, oh, this house should have a pool in the backyard, but it doesn't have a pool. So someone's showing up thinking like, oh, this has a great pool. And it's like, no, it's dirt. Like there's no pool. So yeah, so be very, very careful with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've just been using it like for tips for like people who want to right size or like the home buying process, those type of
Mhm.
things. But when I add my sister's photo, 'cause she's the agent, I'm just a marketing assistant.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes like whatever ChatGPT spits out, it just looks so AI generated. And I don't like that, so I keep working on it so it doesn't look so AI.
Yeah, and what you could try too is maybe if you do have a format that you really like in Canva, um, feed that to ChatGPT and say, "Can you make it look like this?" So that it has a starting point and knows what you want. Because I know exactly what you're talking about. I see so many AI flyers and things. And the second I see it, I'm like, that's AI. And I get turned off. I really do.
Mhm.
And I know I'm not the only one. And I feel like there's, this is a whole other
Mhm.
conversation, but I think there is going to be an AI rebellion there's going to be definitely a group of people that are just like, I'm so sick of everything AI. Give me a freaking real person.
Mhm.
So just keep that in mind because there's definitely those people that are really turned off by it. So I use more AI in my back end processes and having it come up with ideas for me and things like that,
Mhm.
versus trying to create all my content with it. Now I know
Yeah.
Herb will probably disagree because he loves using Sora and
Mhm.
all that stuff, but yeah, I always say like take that with a grain of salt because there are definitely people that are like, ugh, don't like it, don't want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for those great tips.
Oh, you're welcome.
Is there a term natural intelligence? Because I think we should just start labeling things as natural in I or something rather than
I think
AI.
you just coined it. There you go.
Yeah, been working on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Great. Well, thanks guys for joining. And just to let you know, there will be a replay that I'll post on the Facebook group. So if you go to agentpowergroup.com, there's a link for the Facebook group there. And I'll also probably be posting this on the YouTube channel so you can get a replay of it. And Corey, thanks so much for sharing your expertise on this. I
Of
mean,
course.
as you were talking about this, I was updating my Instagram bio and I was
Oh,
following
good.
along and doing these things. So I think it's terrific advice. And, the power of social media is just, we were talking earlier and I was saying, we used to have phone books. How many people remember phone books, right? Um, okay, who uses a phone book today? Right? And I think one of the other things that is really going to be something that we're going to need to look into is I think people are not using the Google search bar as often, and now they're just in their AI asking those questions. So how do we show up in the AI results? And I think that's going to be a big thing too going forward, and it might be even more difficult than we imagined. So anyway, Corey, thanks so much for sharing your expertise today.
You're
Appreciate it so
welcome.
much, and of course, thank you all for coming. Any other questions? Anyone want to bring up anything else? We got 2 minutes left before I got to cut out of here.
And I'm going to actually take a quick selfie with everybody
Please do put it
because
on.
I
Everyone
tried
smile.
to
Smile.
smile. Thank you.
All right.
Because that
Great.
is something I put on my stories as a behind the scenes of what I did today.
Yay. Okay, guys. Thanks for joining us. We're here next week, same bat time, same bat channel, and I'll see you then. Have a
All
great
right.
week.